Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Voice of the Voices. We're the Ohio guys. I'm Asa Young, and today I have with me the amazing Leah Clark. How are you doing today, Leah?
I'm doing fantastic.
So we have a few questions here for you. Why don't we start with, what is it like working in the industry?
It's magical. It feeds me, it allows me to do things that I love and constantly live in a world of art and creativity. Um, it's a lot more competitive than it used to be. So there's a lot of people wanting to do it. So there's a lot of pressure to kind of keep your game up and stay on top of everything so that you don't get bumped out for whatever reason. There's always somebody better. There's always someone looking for your job. So that part's a little bit stressful. But other than that, it's a good time to be doing what I love.
Now, we had a few questions about some shows that you've worked on. What was it like working on Negima?
Negama was my first major role that I'd ever done, so there was a lot of pressure. I was scared to death. The voice that I did was actually a lot harder than I thought it was going to be, because it's one thing to go into an audition and do one line to sample it. It's another one to be booked for hours on end doing that same voice. So that particular voice is the top of my register and it's breathy. So that was hard enough, and it was the first time I actually had interactions with reactions, like having to do those, and those are hard. Those are the hardest things to learn as a voice actor. So I was constantly afraid that I was going to be fired because I was so new, and Colleen was the director at the time, and basically just gave me a crash course in reactions. So.
Another show you worked on, Soul Eater. You played Blair. What was it like working on that show?
That was a lot of fun. I really wanted to do Soul Eater because I loved the character design and the story was cool, and I knew it was going to be on TV, and I knew it was going to be well received. So I actually wanted to play Maka really bad. And when I got cast as Blair, I couldn't remember which one that was. I remembered the cat girl, and then once I realized who Blair was, just like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. And I had so much fun with her. I mean, she's my first creator, I think. Creator / hot girl, and she's actually my favorite character design that I've done. So.
You also worked on Bamboo Blade. What was it like working on that show?
It was like being bipolar, because that was one of those characters where you're very sweet and happy and 1 second, and then psychotic the next second. So I was really excited to be able to do that, and then later was able to do it again in Deadman Wonderland. But any opportunity I have to show more than one level of my voice, I love it.
You also worked on Eden the East, which is one of my personal favorites. What was it like working on that show?
That's one of my personal favorites too. I loved that show. The story was so great, and Mike McFarlane was an amazing director. So he was very particular about how it sounded, and I was just very pleased with how everything came out. And even though it was kind of a journey to get there, it was a lot more focused than some of the work that I've done before. Like, for example, her more emotional scenes, and where he would take a lot of care with those to make sure they sounded real and at the same time, fit the face. And I was just really pleased with that, and I love that character and that story, and it was really cool that he cast me.
Also, another one of my personal favorites, Sergeant Frog. What was it like working on that show?
Sergeant Frog is also another one of my favorites. It was fun. For whatever reason, I can do a boy voice all day and it doesn't hurt my voice. It's actually relaxing, and the writing was so good that I just had a blast doing it. And Joel McDonald was a fantastic, fun director. And he's one of those directors that just doesn't really get in the actor's way. Like, he likes to sit back and see what you'll come up with and work from there. He's not as specific, but he has a really good ear, so he knows what's funny, and knows each actor individually. He knows what we're capable of. So if there's something better, he'll be like, okay, let's do another round. But usually it was just like a one take sort of thing because I just knew that character so well. I loved him. Thought he was a good fit for me.
Now we talked about some of the shows you worked on. What is like one of the favorite shows you've worked on?
Favorite? I think, Sergeant Frog was definitely one that I definitely looked forward to. So that was a favorite. I mean, Eden of the East was a favorite too, just because I love that journey. I love seeing what was going to happen next. So I was always looking forward to that. Oh yes, and Sasami Magical Girl Club was really, really, really dear to my heart because that was the first show that I got to write, direct, and partake in all the way through, and I got to cast the entire thing, and I loved those characters so much, and that one was special. It was a cool opportunity. And I got to work with Brina as my music director on that one, and I pulled in a few singers from the theater to do like the opening and closing numbers of the show. I don't know, it was just a lot of really cool elements all in one project.
Now, if you could play or be any of the characters you played in anime and be them in real life, who would it be? And feel free to mix and match like some of their characteristics of different characters.
Who would I play? That I've done? Blair for sure. Like that, I would love to do. Like I think a Broadway version of Soul Eater is needed. I think it would be so great. Like I can imagine those characters. Like it would just be the costume design would be amazing. The music would be awesome. If Blair was there, I mean, you can imagine her just like dropping down from the fly and riding on a pumpkin or
Gigantic pumpkin.
yeah, that would be. So I would love to play Blair, the musical version. If that's even possible. I'd also really like to play Suzuka because I thought the depth of that character was really fun for me to play and really fun for me to write. And I used to use Suzuka as kind of an acting workshop for some of my panels because the characters are so deep and well written. I think that would make a really good live action for anyone, really. I would love to play her.
Now, is there anything?
Never tracked run, but.
Okay. Now, is there anything that you've recently worked on or recently been announced that you'd like to talk about? Or?
I don't know that it's been announced. I know that the show has been announced. I don't know if it's announced I'm in it.
I know that Robotics Notes is coming soon. I think you're one of the mains in that. Yeah.
Robotics Notes is awesome. I play Frau, I think her name is, or something like that. Frau. Her name is Frau. She's freaking crazy. It's one of the weirdest characters I've ever played. It's kind of like Gigi from Princess Jellyfish and I don't know, something creepy mixed together. So I'm excited about her. And then there is another one that's coming out that I don't know.
Okay, no, that's fine.
Keep an ear out.
Completely understand. Now, just in case if fans want to follow you on any social media networks, do you have any that you'd like to say?
I'm on Twitter at Leah with 3 O's. I'm on Instagram at LeahRue9, and that's Rue with 3 O's. I have a Facebook fan page, and I also have a podcast called The Red Wine Therapist, and it's awesome if you're over 18, I guess. It is at theredwinetherapist.podomatic.com, and it's with me, Allison Victorin, who's in Case Closed, and Jeremy Inman, and a few others. So, look forward to that.
Well, thanks for joining us today, Leah. It was a pleasure.
It was a pleasure.
We're the Ohio guys. I'm Ansel. She's Leah.
I'm
We'll
Leah.
see you next time.